In 1906, an electrical engineer named Namihei Odaira arrives at a copper mine in Ibaraki Prefecture, roughly 90 kilometers northeast of Tokyo. The mine is called Hitachi. The copper is rich, but the equipment is foreign. Every motor, every generator, every piece of electrical machinery in the facility has been imported from Europe or America. When it breaks, there is almost no one in Japan who can fix it. Odaira's job is to keep the electricity running. He repairs motors, maintains generators, builds water power stations for the mine, and electrifies facilities that were previously powered by steam. He works in a small log house at the edge of the mining complex, surrounded by broken machines and imported parts. He spends his days taking apart foreign equipment, understanding how it works, and putting it back together. It is the same origin story that will define power tool companies on the other side of the world for the next century. Robert Bosch repairs electrical equipment in Stuttgart before founding his company. Masaburo Makita repairs motors in Nagoya for 43 years before building his first power tool. Gottlieb Stoll repairs woodworking machines in Esslingen before creating Festool. A.F. Siebert repairs competitors' tools in Milwaukee before building the hole shooter. The pattern is universal. The companies that learn to build by learning to fix build the things that last. In 1910, Odaira and his subordinate engineers successfully build a 5-horsepower induction motor. It is the first of its kind manufactured domestically in Japan, at a time when the country depends almost entirely on foreign technology for its industrial machinery. A small repair operation at a copper mine has produced an electric motor from scratch. Odaira founds a company. He calls it Hitachi. The name combines two Japanese kanji characters, hai meaning sun and tachi meaning rise, the sunrise. The name is not chosen for poetry, it is chosen for the place. The town of Hitachi, the mine of Hitachi, the company of Hitachi, all named for the same ground. Odaira designs the company's mark, a monogram of the two kanji characters. The outer circle has 4 projections representing solar flares and Odaira's determination to stand tall and rise with the sun. The logo will appear on products for over a century. The company grows with a speed that reflects the hunger of an industrializing nation. Japan in the early 20th century is determined to match the Western powers in technology and manufacturing. Domestic production of industrial equipment is a matter of national pride and strategic necessity. Every motor, every generator, every locomotive that Japan builds domestically is one less that must be imported from America or Europe. In 1924, Hitachi builds Japan's first mainline electric locomotive. By 1932, elevators and electric refrigerators. The company becomes a manufacturer of everything electrical that Japan's modernization requires, including parts for the Imperial Japanese military through the 1930s and into the war years, among them aircraft engines. The war devastates Hitachi. Factories in Hitachi City are destroyed by Allied bombing raids and a naval bombardment from American warships in July 1945. The US. Occupation forces attempt to disband the company and remove Odaira from leadership. He is purged from his position in 1947. When asked to leave a few words behind, Odaira writes 2 characters on a piece of paper: honest person. He returns to the company in 1951 when the occupation lifts restrictions on wartime industrial leaders. He dies that same year at 77, still writing in his diary the day before his death. His grandchildren remember him as a frugal, selfless man who hit a hole-in-one playing golf and told them the crows had learned to bathe quickly by imitating him. By the mid-20th century, Hitachi Limited has become one of the largest industrial conglomerates in Japan. Nuclear reactors, bullet trains, the Shinkansen's automatic train control system, construction machinery, consumer electronics, power generation systems, data centers, information technology, medical equipment. The company touches virtually every sector of the Japanese industrial economy. Its market capitalization will eventually exceed 16 trillion yen. It will employ over 300,000 people. It will operate in every major economy on Earth, but inside this vast empire, there is a division that builds something you would never associate with the name Hitachi, power tools. In December 1948, 3 years after the end of the war, Hitachi Koki Limited is founded. The name means Hitachi Industrial Machinery. The initial capital is 30 million yen. The founding mission is to manufacture coal mining machinery, mining equipment, and electric power tools. Japan is rebuilding from rubble. The country needs coal mines need machinery, and machinery needs electric tools. Hitachi Koki exists to serve that chain. The company's early products are industrial. Heavy-duty drills, grinders, and hammers for mining and factory use, built to survive the conditions of a coal mine, where dust, moisture, heat, and continuous operation destroy anything that is not over-engineered. The standards are high because the environment is merciless. Through the 1950s, the product line expands from mining tools to construction tools. Japan's post-war construction boom creates demand for every type of portable electric tool: drills, grinders, sanders, circular saws. The country that was flattened by American bombing is rebuilding at a pace that astonishes the world. Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, Yokohama. Every major city is a construction site. Every construction site needs tools. Hitachi Koki grows alongside the country's reconstruction, building the tools that build the buildings that replace the ones the war destroyed. The product line expands into metalworking tools for factories and shipbuilding. Japan's shipbuilding industry, which will soon become the largest in the world, needs portable grinders, drills, and sanders, capable of operating on steel plate in dockyard conditions. Salt air, sparks, welding heat, continuous vibration. The tools must survive environments that destroy consumer-grade equipment in weeks. Hitachi Koki's mining heritage gives the company an advantage. Tools designed for a coal mine survive a shipyard, and tools designed for a shipyard survive a construction site. The engineering standard flows downward from the most demanding application. In 1957, 9 years after its founding, Hitachi Koki's cumulative production of electric power tools reaches 1 million units. 1 million tools in less than a decade. The scale of Japan's rebuilding has created a manufacturing operation that rivals established European toolmakers who have been operating for decades longer. Fine has been building tools since 1895, Bosch since 1928, Festool since 1925. Hitachi Koki has matched their production volume in 9 years because the market it serves, post-war Japan, has an urgency that peacetime Europe does not. In the 1960s, the product range expands further. Woodworking tools arrive as Japan's housing construction boom intensifies. Every new house needs framing, finishing, trimming, and fitting. The tools that build a Japanese house are the same categories that build an American house or a German house. Circular saws, jigsaws, planers, routers, sanders. Hitachi Koki builds all of them. The first overseas sales subsidiary is established in Germany, then a manufacturing subsidiary in Singapore, then China, then Malaysia. The company is no longer a Japanese manufacturer selling domestically. It is a global manufacturer with production facilities across Asia and sales operations across Europe. The Hitachi power tool, green and grey and built to Japanese tolerances, begins appearing on construction sites from Melbourne to Munich. Through the 1960s and 1970s, the company diversifies aggressively beyond power tools into pneumatic tools, gas engine equipment, chemistry instruments, printers, and life science equipment, including ultracentrifuges for laboratory research that spin samples at 100,000 revolutions per minute, the world's fastest at the time. Hitachi Koki is not just a power tool company. It is an industrial instruments company that happens to make power tools, a mirror image of Bosch, which is an automotive components company that happens to make power tools. Both arrived at power tools as a secondary business. Both found that the secondary business developed a loyalty among professionals that the primary business never achieved. In the late 1970s, Hitachi Koki makes a move that places it at the frontier of cordless tool technology. In 1979, the company introduces the DRC6, its first cordless power tool, a cordless driver drill. Makita had introduced cordless tools a decade earlier, and Black & Decker had pioneered the concept in 1961. But Hitachi Koki's entry into the cordless market signals that the Japanese company intends to compete at every tier of the professional power tool market, not merely follow. In 1982, Hitachi Koki ships the DV20VA, a microprocessor-controlled impact drill. It is the world's first electric power tool equipped with a microprocessor, a computer chip inside a drill. The microprocessor monitors the tool's operation and adjusts performance in real time. In 1982, most power tools are purely mechanical devices, motors connected to gears connected to chucks. The idea that a drill needs a computer is, to most tradespeople, absurd. 20 years later, every professional cordless tool on the market will contain multiple microprocessors. Hitachi Koki arrives at the future 2 decades before the industry catches up. In 1985, cumulative production of power tools surpasses 30 million units. The company is manufacturing over 1,000 models, selling in nearly 100 countries. Subsidiaries are established in Germany, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, France, Austria, Singapore, Malaysia, China, and the United States. Hitachi Koki is a global operation. The innovation cascade continues through the decades. The industry's first cordless impact wrench, the first sliding compound miter saw, the first cordless impact driver, the first collated automatic screwdriver, the first pneumatic concrete nailer, the first portable rebar cutter and bender, the first 10-minute rapid charger for cordless tool batteries. Each product addresses a specific professional need. Each product is built with the engineering density that comes from a parent company that also builds nuclear reactors and bullet trains. By the early 2000s, Hitachi Power Tools are established as a professional brand across every major market. The green tools with the Hitachi logo sit in contractors' vans alongside Milwaukee, Makita, and DeWalt. The brand is not the largest and it is not the flashiest. But among professionals who value engineering over marketing, Hitachi is trusted. The name carries weight. The name carries 70 years of manufacturing credibility, inherited from a conglomerate that builds infrastructure for nations. In 1999, Hitachi Koki implements simulation design technology, using 3D CAD systems to digitally engineer tools before physical prototypes are built. The tools are tested, stressed, and refined in software before a single component is manufactured. The approach reduces development time, improves precision, and allows engineers to identify failure points before they occur in the field. It is the kind of investment that a company makes when it plans to be manufacturing tools for another century. In 2007, Hitachi Koki acquires Nikko Tanaka Engineering, expanding into outdoor power equipment. Tanaka chainsaws, trimmers, and blowers join the portfolio. The product range now covers indoor and outdoor professional tools across every category. In the 2000s, Hitachi Koki pushes further into cordless technology. Brushless motors replace brushed motors across the product line. The 18-volt and 36-volt battery platforms expand. The triple hammer impact driver, featuring a unique 3-anvil system, increases torque and speed while decreasing size and weight. In 2017, cordless nailers using a proprietary air spring drive technology launch, delivering pneumatic-equivalent performance without hoses or compressors. The cordless nailer is a tool that professionals have been waiting for since the invention of the cordless drill. It frees the framing carpenter from the air compressor, the hose, and the moisture trap that have defined pneumatic nailing for decades. Hitachi Koki is building the best tools in its history. The engineering teams are operating at peak capability. The product line is wider than it has ever been. The global distribution network spans nearly 100 countries. The brand name, Hitachi, carries a recognition and trust that no marketing budget could replicate. And then, Hitachi Limited, the parent company, decides the power tool division is not strategic. To understand what happens next, you have to understand what Hitachi Limited has become by 2017. Hitachi Limited is no longer the company Namihei Odaira founded in a log house at a copper mine. It is a conglomerate with annual revenues exceeding 9 trillion yen. It operates in digital systems, power generation, renewable energy, railway systems, healthcare, financial services, and industrial infrastructure. The company builds bullet trains, nuclear power plants, data centers, and smart city platforms. It is by every measure one of the largest and most diversified industrial companies on Earth. Inside this empire, the power tool division is a rounding error. Hitachi Koki's revenues are a small fraction of the parent company's total. The tools are profitable, respected, and engineered to the same standard as everything Hitachi builds. But they are not strategic. They do not fit the corporate vision of a company that is repositioning itself around social innovation, digital infrastructure, and energy systems. A cordless drill does not advance Hitachi's railway business. A circular saw does not contribute to Hitachi's nuclear power division. A sliding compound miter saw does not help Hitachi build smart cities. The corporate strategists in Tokyo look at the power tool division and see an asset that can be monetized. The engineering teams in the factories look at the power tool division and see a 70-year legacy that has produced more than 1,000 tool models sold in 100 countries. The strategists win. In March 2017, KKR, the American private equity firm, announces its plan to acquire Hitachi Koki from Hitachi Limited. KKR is not a small firm. It is one of the largest and most powerful buyout companies in the world. Founded in 1976 by Jerome Kohlberg, Henry Kravis, and George Roberts, KKR pioneered the leveraged buyout. It buys companies using borrowed money, restructures them to increase profitability, and sells them at a markup. The firm manages over $500 billion in assets. Its portfolio includes companies in healthcare, insurance, media, real estate, retail, and technology. It does not build things, it buys things, improves their financial performance, and sells them. That is the business. That is the only business. The deal is valued at approximately $1.3 billion. Hitachi Limited sells its power tool division to a financial firm that has no history in manufacturing, no expertise in power tools, and no stated intention to hold the company permanently. The acquisition closes in April 2017. Hitachi Koki is no longer part of the Hitachi Group, and the moment the separation is finalized, a clock starts ticking. The right to use the name Hitachi on power tools has an expiration date. The brand name that has been printed on green power tools in 100 countries for 70 years is a licensed trademark belonging to Hitachi Limited. When the licensing period ends, the name must come off the tools. 70 years of brand equity has a deadline. In June 2018, the company changes its corporate name from Hitachi Koki Coins Ltd. to Koki Holdings Co. Ltd. The name Hitachi is gone from the corporate identity. On October 1, 2018, the power tool brand changes from Hitachi to Hikoki, pronounced Hikoki. The name is constructed from pieces of the past and aspirations for the future. The Hi recalls Hitachi and represents the English word high, as in high performance and high reliability. Koki is the Japanese word for industrial machinery. A hidden number 1 is embedded in the logo, representing the company's ambition to be the customer's first choice. The name is thoughtful and carefully designed. It also means nothing to the 70 years of tradespeople who have been buying green power tools with the word Hitachi printed on the side. A carpenter in Sydney who has used Hitachi tools for 25 years walks into a tool dealer and sees a green tool that looks almost exactly like his Hitachi, performs exactly like his Hitachi, is manufactured by the same engineers in the same factories as his Hitachi, and carries a name he has never seen before. Hikoki. He does not know how to pronounce it. He does not know what it means. He does not know if it is the same company or a different company or a Chinese knockoff or an entirely new brand trying to ride the coattails of the green color scheme he associates with Hitachi. He asks the dealer. The dealer explains. The carpenter nods. He picks up the tool. It feels the same. It looks the same. The color is slightly different. More acid green than the darker green he remembers, but the build quality is unmistakably the same engineering. He puts it back on the shelf and buys a Makita instead. Not because the Makita is better, because he knows what Makita is. He knows Makita will exist next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. He has been burned once by a brand that changed its name overnight. He is not willing to be burned again. The confusion is immediate and global. Across Europe, Asia, the Pacific, and the Middle East, the same scene plays out in thousands of dealers. Professionals who have trusted Hitachi for decades are confronted with a tool that carries a name they have never encountered. The tools are identical, the trust is not. In North America, the story gets stranger. The company decides not to use the Hikoki name at all. Instead, it rebrands as Metabo HPT. The reasoning is that Metabo already carries professional credibility in the North American market, and appending HPT, high performance tools, will create a recognizable bridge. The name Metabo is borrowed from Metabo, the German power tool manufacturer that Hitachi Koki had acquired in 2015 for approximately $180 million. The real Metabo, the company founded by Albrecht Schnitzler in a bakery basement in Nürtingen in 1923, the company that invented the first mass-produced impact drill in 1957, the company whose name literally derives from the German word Metallbohrdreher, still exists. Its tools are still sold under the Metabo name. Its grinders are still considered among the best in the world. Its heritage is German, its engineering is German, and its identity is German. Now there is also Metabo HPT, which is not Metabo, it is Hitachi. Except it is not Hitachi anymore either. It is a Japanese-engineered tool line manufactured in Japanese and Chinese factories, sold under a German-sounding name, owned by an American private equity firm headquartered in New York, and managed through a holding company registered in Tokyo. Two entirely different companies with entirely different product lines designed by entirely different engineering teams in entirely different countries, now share the same first name in the same market. A North American contractor standing in a Home Depot aisle, looking at a Metabo angle grinder and a Metabo HPT circular saw side by side, sees the same brand prefix and naturally assumes they are related products from the same engineering tradition. They are not. The Metabo grinder was designed in Nürtingen by German engineers with 100 years of grinding expertise. The Metabo HPT circular saw was designed in Japan by Japanese engineers with 70 years of power tool experience. The only thing they share is a parent company in KKR's investment portfolio and a name that was chosen to leverage association rather than communicate truth. The official press release states it carefully. It is important to note that as Hitachi Power Tools changes their name in the North American market to Metabo HPT, the original Metabo brand will remain. Two distinct brands, one parent company, one confusing name. The trade press covers the rebrand with a mixture of bewilderment and resignation. The tradespeople cover it with profanity. To launch the new brand with credibility, Koki Holdings simultaneously introduces the multi-volt battery platform. The technology is genuinely innovative. A single battery that automatically switches between 36 volts and 18 volts, depending on which tool it is inserted into. The operator does not select a voltage. The battery detects the tool and adjusts. A 36-volt circular saw and an 18-volt impact driver can share the same battery. One battery, two voltages, no compromise on either. The multi-volt system is designed to prove that despite the name change, the engineering has not changed. The message is deliberate, the brand is new, but the innovation is not. The engineers who built the world's first microprocessor-controlled drill in 1982 are the same engineers building the multi-volt platform in 2018. The technology earns respect in the professional community. The tools are excellent, and independent reviews consistently rank Hikoki and Metabo HPT products among the best in their categories. The sliding compound miter saws remain industry benchmarks. The cordless nailers remain among the most capable on the market. The brushless motor technology is competitive with anything Milwaukee, Makita, or DeWalt produces. The problem is not the tools, the problem is the name. A professional tradesperson choosing a battery platform is making a decade-long investment. The batteries, the chargers, the tools, the accessories all interlock into an ecosystem. Switching platforms means abandoning hundreds or thousands of dollars of existing equipment. The decision is not about one tool, it is about trust. The tradesperson needs to believe that the company behind the platform will exist in 10 years, will still manufacture compatible batteries in 10 years, will still service the tools in 10 years. Milwaukee has the M18 platform and 100 years of brand recognition backed by TTI's aggressive investment strategy. Makita has LXT and 111 years of independence, a company that has never been acquired, never been merged, and still manufactures its own motors. DeWalt has 20-volt Max, the most aggressive marketing machine in the industry and the weight of Stanley Black & Decker's $15 billion conglomerate behind it. Festool has the Sustainer ecosystem and a family that has owned the company for 3 generations. Hikoki has a name that nobody can pronounce and a parent company that is a private equity firm. KKR does not manufacture tools, KKR manufactures returns for investors. The average holding period for a KKR portfolio company is 5 to 7 years. A tradesperson investing $2,000 in the Hikoki multi-volt platform, batteries, chargers, tools, accessories, is betting that KKR will still own the company when his batteries need replacing in 3 years, when his charger needs servicing in 5 years, when the next generation of tools requires backward compatibility in 7 years. That is a bet most professionals are not willing to make when competing platforms are backed by companies with century-long track records. The concern is not theoretical. History is littered with power tool brands that were acquired by financial firms and dismantled. Porter Cable was killed, Craftsman was gutted. Metabo itself was passed from its founding family to Contitech, to Hitachi Koki, to KKR in successive acquisitions. Every sale introduced uncertainty, and every uncertainty cost the brand customers who chose instead to invest in a platform backed by a company that was not for sale. And that is the part that stings. Hitachi Koki's tools are as good as anything on the market. In some categories, they are better. The sliding compound miter saw is widely regarded as best in class. The cordless nailers with air spring drive technology are among the most capable framing tools available. The multi-volt battery is a genuinely innovative platform. The engineering has never been stronger, but engineering does not sell tools. Trust sells tools. And trust is not embedded in the motor or the gearbox or the battery management system. Trust is embedded in the name. The name was Hitachi. The name is now Hikoki. The trust has to be rebuilt from zero. In an industry where brand loyalty is measured in decades, rebuilding from zero is a generational project. In 2022, Koki Holdings merges its North American operations for Metabo HPT and the original Metabo brand under one roof, headquartered in Brazelton, Georgia. The two brands remain distinct in name and product line, but the organizational structure unifies them under a single management team. In Europe, Koki Holdings relocates its headquarters to Nürtingen, Germany, the same town where Metabo has been based since Albrecht Schnitzler left his father's bakery a century ago. The Japanese power tool company's European headquarters now sits in the same German town as the German tool company it acquired. In 2023, Hikoki launches the world's first 36-volt cordless rebar cutter and bender. In 2021, the world's first 36-volt cordless plunge router. The engineering firsts keep coming. The company that produced the first microprocessor-controlled drill in 1982 is still producing world firsts 4 decades later. The capability has not diminished, the brand recognition has. Today, Hikoki power tools are sold in over 90 countries. The company manufactures more than 1,000 models. It holds ISO 9000 certification for quality assurance. and ISO 14001 certification for environmental management. The tools are designed in Japan, manufactured in Japan, China, and other facilities, and sold through dealer networks that are still rebuilding the trust that evaporated when the Hitachi name disappeared. The acid green and black color scheme has replaced the darker green of the Hitachi era. The aesthetic is more aggressive, the marketing language more assertive. The company positions itself as a premium professional brand, competing directly with Milwaukee, Makita, and DeWalt. The tools justify the positioning. The name does not yet carry the weight that the tools deserve. What happened to this brand has a specific kind of cruelty to it. Hitachi Koki did not fail. Its tools did not decline in quality. Its engineering did not weaken. Its market share did not collapse under competitive pressure. The company was building the best tools in its history when the name was taken away. The engineers who designed the multi-volt platform, the triple hammer impact driver, and the air spring drive cordless nailers were operating at the highest level of innovation the company had ever achieved. The name was lost because a corporate parent decided that power tools were not part of its future. A conglomerate that builds bullet trains and nuclear reactors looked at 70 years of power tool engineering and saw an asset to be monetized, not a legacy to be maintained. The sale to KKR was not a failure of the power tool division. It was a strategic decision by a parent company that had outgrown the division or believed it had. Namihei Odaira founded Hitachi in 1910 by building a motor in a log house at a copper mine. He repaired foreign machines until he understood them well enough to build his own. His company grew into one of the largest industrial conglomerates on Earth. His name, the name of the place where he built his first motor, became synonymous with Japanese engineering across dozens of industries and hundreds of countries. In 2017, the conglomerate he founded sold its power tool division to an American private equity firm. The firm stripped the name off the tools and replaced it with a word that professionals in 100 countries had never heard, could not pronounce, and had no reason to trust. The tools are the same. The factories are the same. The engineers are the same. The name is gone. That is the story of Hitachi Power Tools, not a rise and fall, not a decline in quality, not a corporate betrayal from within, not a brand that was gutted by cost-cutting or destroyed by consumer dilution the way Black & Decker was. Something stranger and in some ways sadder. A brand that was performing at its peak, engineering at its best, innovating at its fastest, had its identity removed. Not because it failed, but because it succeeded inside a company that had decided success in power tools was no longer worth the name. The engineers are still in the factory, the tools are still on the production line, the miter saws are still the benchmark. The cordless nailers still outperform most of the competition. The multi-volt battery still switches between 36 and 18 volts without the operator lifting a finger. The 70-year engineering culture that Hitachi Koki built, from coal mining machinery to microprocessor-controlled drills, to world-first cordless rebar cutters, is intact. The name is not. Namihei Odaira built a 5-horsepower motor in a log house at a copper mine in 1910. He named his company after the place where the sun rises. The name meant something. It meant Japanese engineering that refused to depend on foreign technology. It meant a century of motors, locomotives, reactors, bullet trains, and power tools that earned the trust of professionals in 100 countries. In 2018, that name was removed from the power tools and replaced by a word that a marketing team constructed from syllables of the old name and aspirations for the new. The sun still rises. The name has been taken off the tools. The sunrise still rises. It just carries a name nobody recognizes yet.